evening, everybody. First of all, thank you very much to give me this opportunity to meet with you and to share with you my story. Actually, my story started even before I was born. My story started with my grandparents in 1948 when they were forced to leave their homes and they seek a safe place to their children. They went to Lebanon because they lived very close to the border of Lebanon. They thought they will stay only for 2 weeks. So they carried their key with them and hoped that after 2 weeks they will return back. 66 years and a half, and they still refugees. I was born myself in a refugee camp. My children are born in a refugee camp. Now we have 4 generations live in refugee camps, stateless, homeless, with very limited rights. I'll give you just a summary about our daily life. To start with, what does it mean to live in a refugee camp? Refugee camps created after 48, when the United Nations, they established what's called UNRWA to look after the Palestinian refugees. So they rented land from the Lebanese government and they hosted the refugee community in these camps. In Lebanon, we have 12 camps. All of us in Lebanon, we are around the population of Palestinian refugees, around 425,000. They around 10% of the Lebanese population. The size of the camp is very limited. There is no way to expand. 66 years, of course, it's impossible to stay in the same place. The only way to expand is to go up. So people started to build second floor, third floor, one room, 2 rooms, hoping that they will return, they will go back. It's temporary place for Palestinians. These homes never built forever, only temporary place. So no good foundation, very small. It's like slum, if you like. And then the agreement was no signs of settlement, which means no electricity is allowed to the camp, no drinking water, no phone lines, no facilities. Until now, we still have the same regulations, 66 years. But of course, people, you can't live nowadays without electricity. So we have some sort of electricity, but the government refused to legalize it because we are refugees. So the minute you enter the camp and you have seen this, you experience that, hundreds of electricity lines above your head. Very dangerous, many people die from electrical shock. Plus, people never have electricity for 24 hours. I remember Helen, when she lived with me, we hardly had electricity. And she used to say, I want to iron my clothes when I want to iron, not when they want me to iron. It's like sometimes we'll have electricity after 12 midnight for 1 hour. So imagine how women will rush to do whatever they need to do in this 1 hour. Drinking water, until now, we buy it from outside the camp. People can't afford bottled water. They buy the city water. And still the city water is not that clean in Lebanon, but what to do? Water we have in the camps comes from wells, from underneath. And they have it in pipes and pump it to people's home. It's not even clean to clean the house with it, because it's not treated. We advise our volunteers when they come, even not to wash the vegetables with this water, not to brush their teeth with that water, because they will get sick immediately. We don't have proper sewage system. So you can imagine in winter, and we have really heavy rain in winter, camps flood, students can't go to schools because of the flood, people flee their homes because of the flood. And until now, nothing has been done. Houses started to fall down because it's 66 years and they are not strong. And actually, I always give example. I was in the office on the 20th of June, and the roof fell down on me and my other two colleagues, and I had head injury. People are really, they can't leave their homes. They live in their homes in spite of, they know that it's dangerous and risky to fall down, but what to do and where to go. Health, it's another problem. We are refugees. That means we have no access to any Lebanese government services. We have no access to any public services.
You're in the middle of Beirut, in the city.
We are in the middle of Beirut, that doesn't help. Still, we have no access because we are refugees. What we have is what the United Nations agency provides, which is very simple services. Imagine El-Barajneh, the camp where I come from, it's less than 1 square kilometer. And I was told it's like 2 football playing grounds, or it's the side of a Chevalier school. And do you know how many people live in that camp? Before last year, around 25 to 26,000. You know now how many live? Around 35, 36,000, because many of Palestinian Syrian, they left Syria and they came and joined their relatives in these camps, which is already overcrowded. So they are sharing with them the very limited services or resources available in the camp. And because we are refugees, they provide us with very simple, under-resourced, under-equipped centers. We have, for the whole people, 1 clinic in the camp. 1 clinic with 1 GP. That's all what we have. And the United Nations agency, they operate till 2 o'clock, half day. So in 1 day, which is about 3-4 hours maximum, they see more than 100 patients. So you can imagine how the visit is. It's less than 2 minutes. No education, nothing at all. And due to long years of war, conflicts, and miserable life, stressful situation, people became very sick. And people start to age early. People actually, now, if you ask me when people are old, you will be shocked if I tell you, they become old and they see themselves as old when they are 55, and now it's dropping down more and more. We have lots of chronic illness without control, like diabetes, high blood pressure, heart problem, high incidence of cancer, and all of this, it's not under control. People to be on a special diet costs lots of money and people can't afford, so they forget about special diet. And people, they don't have the machine to check their blood sugar after every meal, or because it's expensive and no one provides it free of charge. If you need to go to the hospital, the United Nations, they don't run hospitals. They refer you to hospital, but they have limited number of beds. So people pray to get sick at the beginning of the year because the budget is still there. If you get sick at the middle of the year, bad luck. You have to wait to be on the waiting list. Education. Education is another problem. We are refugees. What education we get? Still the old-fashioned, study by heart. Many children in 1 classroom, it's a luxury if they have a classroom this size. It's very small size rooms and they will have 45, 50 children.
By the way, this is not the UNRWA classroom, this is one set up by your organisation.
This is it. UNRWA, it's more crowded. And 1 teacher for the 45 or 50 children. So half of the session will be spent on discipline the children. Don't move, don't talk, don't. And for children, school is a place where they will be sent to torture, unfortunately. Palestinians, it's a well-known fact, in 50s and 60s, they are the most educated among Arabs. And they love education and they want to be well educated. But unfortunately, if they have no support, how they can support their children to get well educated? Also, In Lebanon, because we are refugees, we have no right to work in 72 jobs, which leaves us with nothing. So children started to question that, like, why we should go to school or university and suffer, and then we will end up sitting at home doing nothing. So they lost the motivation. We have no right to free movement because we are homeless and stateless.
Olfat, is it so that you didn't leave the camp till you were 16?
Yes.
You were not allowed to even go outside the perimeter of the camp?
It's not, it's before
so
we have...
the questions like yeah.
Okay, I will...
Yes,
yeah.
sure, answer.
So,
Sorry.
Yes. We have no right to free movement because we are homeless and stateless. That means we don't carry passports like you to be able to travel. What we get, it's papers from the UN to say we are homeless, we are stateless. And of course, the refugee issue is everywhere, not respected, and everywhere humiliated. So who will accept us to travel if you are refugees? You don't deserve to travel to see the world. Stay where you are. I was only able to come to Australia each time, the 8th time I came here, because I was invited by someone formal. Even if someone, like I have a cousin and send me invitation, it doesn't mean anything. Because I'm a refugee, I have to be supported by a formal letter to be able to move. And if I want, it's like endless suffering, endless human rights violation, like nothing is applicable to the Palestinians. The whole world is now very crazy about human rights, about democracy, about when it comes to the Palestinians, it's forgotten. As if we are not a human being. We are human beings, and what's applicable to all human beings should be applicable to us. And I would like to say one thing. It's like, before 1947, my parents always tell us, my grandparents, that they were well off. They had huge land. They were farmers. So why that happened? And we would have accepted that if it's a natural catastrophe. We would have blamed nature or blamed God, but now we know that our problem started before even 1948. It was somehow started in 1947 when the international community agreed to divide Palestine into 2 states. And my question is, when you take a decision and leave, or you take a decision and take responsibility? This is what happened to the Palestinians. The international community, they took the decision, made the decision, and then left us as forgotten. We are, unfortunately, nowadays, we are not attractive. We are not trend now. We are not bleeding. And the only way to attract the attention of the international community, it's only when you bleed, when you have war. And I accuse them, they actually support people to involve in fighting. Because everyone now, if you go to the camps and see young people sitting around doing nothing, you know what they say? We wish we have war. Because then we will bring attention back to the camps. Now we have been so long refugees, 66 years, we are not the fashion. They forget about us. We have been so long, they get really fed up from our cause, from our situation. And here I get really surprised. Why they should be bored about our situation, actually? They should be ashamed because it's 66 years and they haven't solved it yet. It's not, why they make it complicated, we don't know. Why they can't put pressure on Israel to stop building more settlements and to bring Palestinians who were kicked out in 1948, bring them back. And we don't want to kick them out, we want to live together. Always people say, before 1948, we used to live together, Muslims, Christians, and Jewish. So why now we are forbidden to go? Even to visit. I've never been in Palestine, never ever. I'm not allowed to go even for a visit. So the international community also, they should put pressure. They should not just watch what's happening and do nothing. The other thing, I'm sorry to tell you, I will tell you about Australia and their role in 1947. Australia was the casting vote. When they voted for the division of Palestine, they were 50-50. And Australia was the casting vote, made the decision. So Australia also take responsibility. And why I am saying that, because many Australians, they say, what to do with the Middle East? We are very far. Why we should help and support you, and you are far from our country? Because they are looking at the humanitarian issue as investment. Where countries are trading, they want to help. Okay, and I asked them, why you were there in 1947? And why you are interfering with what's happening now and before and what will happen? So, with the humanitarian issue, with war, there are no borders. People should share, people should support each other. And this is my message to the international community, and while I'm here, to the Australians. Australia was one of the international community, one country within this international community who made the decision, and they should be responsible. And what's my message? We don't want only financial support to the NGOs to be able to work. We want also political support. And political support is more important than financial. Because if we really want lasting peace, we have to have justice. And we have, as Palestinians, we should have a peaceful and just solution. We can't continue like that. And you know now what's happening in the Middle East. We have really growing extremists going there. As you all know, you hear about ISIS. We are worried more than you about ISIS, because our young boys, they are really hopeless. They are doing nothing. They have no power. They have nothing to lose. So they are easy target to brainwash. And do we want the young people to be involved with ISIS and then we say we should fight them? Why we don't prevent that? And again, I always laugh, we have conflict resolution. Each country are very proud of having conflict resolution centers. And I don't know why. Why we want conflict to happen, then solve it. Why we don't call them conflicts prevention? Why not? And if we look at all conflicts in the world, they had signs, and the world could prevent them, but we let them go, we let them happen, and then we say, how we can fight them now? How we can resolve these conflicts? The other day I read the first few days of the war in Kobani and in Iraq against ISIS. Only the first few days cost $4 million, 225 something, $1 million in a few days. I asked, this money can't go to help young people and empower them, and then we prevent the whole conflict? Unfortunately, I don't know what's happening. Maybe we are not putting much pressure on our politicians. Maybe everyone say, I am safe, that's it. I don't know. The whole world is going crazy with war and fighting, and we are not doing much. We want to achieve peace. As Palestinians, it's not true that we love war and we love fighting, but it seems that there are lots of pressure on us to go into war and fighting. We don't want to lose our children. We don't want to have war. We want to have peace. But we can't reach peace by ourselves. We need support and we need help. We need political support. And the first thing we needed, it's when the international community recognized the state of Palestine. This is the first step. And then the second step, it's we as refugees outside the Palestinian territories. The UN guaranteed our right of return when they have the resolution 194. There is a UN resolution 194 that stated the right of return to the Palestinian refugees and compensation, but it's not implemented. And here we have to ask the UN why they have all these resolutions if they don't want to implement them. So we are not asking for something impossible. We are asking for our rights. We are asking for what exists. And we try as locals to do our best to help our people. As Helen mentioned, we established this organization, Women's Humanitarian Organization, with the help of Australian and actually with the help of Dr. McHugh. You are a doctor, I should. Yes, you suffered too. Yeah. She helped us there to start with that organization. And we thought we need something for women because, as you know, women, they raise up children, women, they are the main actor within the family. So we wanted a women organization where we can work together to empower women. And I believe the only way to defeat ISIS is by empowering women and young children. And what we do, we get help now from APHEDA to run some of our projects to empower these women through skills, education, health education programs, and through psychosocial support. Also, we work with old people because they are in need and they are the most forgotten. The focus always on women and children, and we forget the old people. And the old people are the most depressed because they are dying before they return back. So, also, by supporting elderly, we send message to the community. Our old people are very open-minded. We wanted them to work with younger generation because they can give them some oral history. They can spread the message. Palestinians were open-minded and we never were conservative. We were really very strict. So we try to mix activities between younger generation and older generation. We can't do this without the help of the international community. Because, as I said, we have no right to work. What left for us, it's only to work within Palestinian refugee camps, and this is very little opportunities. And most of the work which is now available in the camp, it's, between quotations, female work, because nursing, teaching, still it's more dominant for female to take these jobs. So men lost their main role as breadwinner, and because of that, they became more angry and they became really aggressive. So it's like we need your support, we need your help, and as I said, we need your political support first, and we need financial support to continue our work. And now I will go through a little bit some of the big photos just to explain a little bit. You see these? Okay. This is the name of the organization. This is old footage when people lived in tents. How was the camp? How the camps were. Sabra and Shatila massacre. You know, thousands of people were killed, and this is the camp now. No more tents, 66 years. Do you expect people to live in tents for 66 years? But as you see, they are really like slums, like
no streets,
and no streets, and these houses are falling down. It impacts on our social life because no privacy. You can see, your window open in your neighbor's home. See, this is the streets in the camps. So you can imagine how the elderly can walk or the disabled people.
The water supply and the electricity supply.
This is when you enter the camp. Water and electricity together. Oh. This is just, these are the buttons. Each house has one button, so the electricity line go to people's home like that. And you have seen it, it's very low. And because it's so colorful, children love to come and play there.
Electrocution is a big problem. I took a picture of one power pole that has been on fire.
Yes.
Many times.
Many times. The other, while I was here, my friend brought to me, they haven't electricity for 4 days. They never saw electricity for 4 days. You know what are these? No. Sometimes people put signs to know which line is their line. You see, people walk and play, and it's we don't have. This is how people collect rubbish. We don't have, it's a small camp. It's no, we don't have schools inside the camps. Schools always outside the camp. And we have only elementary, primary and elementary schools. The United Nations only provide 10 years of education. Then family has to find private schools. Universities, all private also. So people put the rubbish, and the United Nations, they have workers who come once a day, collect the rubbish, and take it outside the camp. The rest of the day, all the rubbish is around. You see how people live? So if a disabled or an old person live there, they won't be able to move outside the house. And you see Jerusalem everywhere. See children playing, and these are all the electricity lines.
No trees.
No trees. It's less than a square kilometer, and more than 35,000 live there now. This is a woman, Rabbi Shop. She's a very nice woman. You remember her? When you enter the camp, she told you are most welcome. You are our voice outside. This is the grandmother looking after her disabled grandson. Here we run short courses for women on, they make, I don't know what curtains and beddings and things like that. So they'll be able to sell. Here we do some raising awareness and things, so one exercise. And they bring their children with them. This is our preschool center, where mothers can leave their children while they are attending workshops or working or anything. Also, it became in Lebanon a must. Without the United Nations adopt the Lebanese curriculum, and the Lebanese curriculum based on preschool education. So if children don't go to school, they won't fit in the first class. And parents can't afford a private preschool center, so we run one. We do lots of activities with kids. This is the roof where they play. This is what we have. We don't have playing grounds or anything like that. They love football, and with the help of APHEDA, we have now a sport program where we take them outside the camp to play football. Young girls. We try to bring joy to their lives, so we do lots of activities with them. Here they are making network. Yeah, it's like networking. We do Christmas because in Palestine we used to have, all villages, they have Muslims and the Christians, and they used to celebrate all feasts. So we wanted to remind people with that. So during Christmas we have Santa Claus and we give them small presents. This is some activities with young girls. This is our traditional dancing. This is a group of disabled children. We work with them to be able to read and write because they never go to school. Our schools, the United Nations schools, are not equipped to take disabled children. Old people. They gather and they do. I want your picture, your photos also a little bit. Your ones.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We also have visitors from Australia. APHEDA, they bring groups.
Which one's all that?
The one which you ran before, yeah, this one. This is during one of the visits, and we always invite people to come and visit, because if I speak hours and hours, it's not the same when you go there and visit for a couple of hours.
Some of the, I was amazed at how much fun the children were having, and yet that little boy really struck me. Like his face seemed so pale.
We have high incidence of anemia because people don't have much money, so they live on carbohydrates because it's cheaper and more filling, and sometimes they never eat meat and fruits for a couple of days, for the whole week. So
the young women looking after the children, I thought were really amazing too. Like in such difficult circumstances, to bring so much fun, to give the children such a life in such a difficult situation. It's just it's inspiration.
People love visitors, and really they believe they are their sound outside. So when they come, they will go and spread the information. Yeah. This is
I
Justice and Peace for Palestine. It was not finished yet.
Yeah, I wanted to buy it, but she said it wasn't finished.
Yeah, but it's still working.
Yeah. But yeah, that's just another shot.
Yeah. This is me.
That lady on the right, Lisa Arnold,
Lisa,
leads tours to Palestine if anyone is interested in going. And believe me, it's life-changing. You know, it certainly was for me. It was for Marie.
Again, please add me. I want to go to the women who are the Syrian. No? You can.
I'll put some.
There were women doing embroidery somewhere. We
Uh,
have now a group of, Palestinian Syrian women coming to the camp, and because their life was very serious. They were settled and much easier than the life of Palestinians in Lebanon. So they are facing huge problems. They are really shocked with what they saw in these camps. They never expected that we live like that. And so we give them some courses on embroidery so they can sell their embroidery and can bring some money to the family, which most of the Palestinian women are doing in the camps. And on the table behind you, if you give just a few minutes to look at this embroidery, they are all made in the camp by Palestinian women. And believe me, sometimes there is no electricity. Only on the candle they work all this difficult needlework. We sell their products in the camp and outside, so they can bring some money to the family. And we highly appreciate if someone can buy their products. As I told you, our journey has been so long, 66 years. I can talk for hours. But, I gave you a brief summary about our situation.
There is no financial social security, so
No, we have no security at all. No social security or any other type of security. What we want, as I said, we want peace and justice. Thank you very much.
I think all of you must be very moved by what Olfat was saying just